I'm starting a commission and working out a rendering for the altar in the Basilica. This will be the main altar. In the mid-60s, there was some revisions in the Mass where the priest now faces the congregation, and because of that, they had put a temporary altar in, and now they have decided to put a permanent. So Monsignor Burkhardt commissioned me to work out a design, and here I've got some interlocking rings. Numerically, the significance for these is the first 50 signify the Hail Marys in one section of the Rosary. And then the linking rings, the large ones, when you combine all these numbers together, you get 72 for the books of the Bible. I was inspired to work on this section by a stained glass window that's in Our Lady of the Rosary Monastery. And it has a depiction of Mary handing the rosary to St. Dominic, and in front of St. Dominic is the scriptures opened. And that kind of inspired me to tie all these numbers together and give that origin. Okay, now leaving really the 1200s and going into the 1500s, the title of Our Lady of Victory was given, and this section in here really signifies that title. We have the 150 roses around the edge here, which I plan on casting in metal and gold leafing. And then I have 15 scrolls that go across, and each one of these will be carved and have gold leaf, and written on those will be the mysteries of the Rosary. The large twisted columns in the corners here on each end, there'll be 4 of them, and they're going to match the large canopy that's already existing in the Basilica. And I've scaled them down in proportion, and the only difference I've really made on them is on these top capitals I've added the roses, again for the image of Mary. And then on the back side, I'll have large scrolls that are designed, and they'll have the 150 psalms on them. And each psalm is traditionally kind of ties in with the prayers of the Rosary. That's why there's 150 Hail Marys. So that typically was prayed by the religious, so on that side will be the side that the priests stand. Okay, now the top band, we kind of shoot up another 500 years, and we get to our modern Rosary from St. John Paul. And these will have 200 small beads wrapped around in here, and that's adding the luminous mysteries onto the Rosary. So we actually have the whole transition from St. Dominic in the 12th century all the way up to modern times with St. John Paul II. So now what I'm working on is there's going to be a curved molding that runs across there. Came in with a knife on the front, cut this profile in, and then I split it in half and cut out the core in the center. And then what I did is 2 pieces of curved molding. They're called a barley twist molding, and it's a traditional design that fits in the style with the Basilica. And I carved in these spiral curves here, and then I flatten out the back so it's about a 3/4 turning, and those will get applied onto the face here. Now I'm working on these large columns. I'll show you the capital tops that you saw me carving on the machine. I put those together. I did the corners together. And I've got these pretty much finished up. I've got some detail to carve on the sides here where the two pieces came together. And then I've got some cleanup in the design and everything. And I'll have those complete. And these are going to be on top of the columns, which are those elliptical shaped columns, or and here's a blank that's roughed out. And what I'm doing on this blank is I've got to get that heavy twist design that you see on these shells on here. So here's my template. I turn this first. I laid out even spacing here, and then I connect the diagonals. And then I know my deep cuts are on these diagonals. The ones that I have here in between is the high part of the curve. And I'll take you over here and I'll show you one that I've got started. Okay, I started roughing one of these columns in. And what I do is on the deep parts in here, I get in and I'll carve these in. And then once I got it roughed, you can see on this side here, you can see, this is that flat part of the turning still on there. And you can see how sharp that edge is. I've just got it rough chiseled. So I come in with my chisels and I just keep working across. And I work down until I got it nice and smooth. And then once it's smooth and I've got a nice contour, I can actually follow the contour with the bevel on my blade, and I can take those little ridges out. And I can just do that by hand. Then I go across the whole piece like that. And I'll get that all smooth in. And once that area is all, you know, the ridges are out and everything, then get back and sand it, and it pulls all that in and blends it. And I'll show you on the other side here. Here's the other side. And that's mostly complete right now. I mean, I've got a few scratches and things to sand out and everything. But you can see I've got all the contours worked out, and I've got the shapes. And then I'll use this as my template on the carving machine, so that when I duplicate the other ones, they all look exactly the same. Now, on this design, the way this elliptical design works, they're mirror images. So once I complete this one, I'll make another one, which is the one you saw laid out there, which is a mirrored image of this one, and then I'll have templates for the ones on the other side. What I do is I've got two pieces, they're 4 inches by 8 inches, and then I glue those up, and there's only one joint on there, and that'll disappear. I've got the basic structure of the altar put together here, and I just finished attaching the shells. There's some holes cut in here, and then these slide in, and then they're attached to behind. And the next I'm going to be doing is I'm working on the base, and I'm going to put those twisted columns in the corners here, and then finish off the top that bands around, and then I'll pretty much have most of the structure finished up. And then it'll be going into details, working on the scrolls in here, putting the roses around the edge, and finishing up the carving on the capital top. The thing about this metal is it melts at a lower temperature, so it's a little easier to work with. And you'll see here, I just pour it right into the mold. Gets into all the, fills up all the petals. This is the second one. Now I made a mold that has 5 of them in here. So I'm pouring all 5 at once. There's 150 going on here. So you can see it's a day or two process to get this all finished up, but I'll just pour 3 of them. Do you want us to go right? We can go right off of there, right onto the cars. If it'll roll.
This is to play the season. Seals it in.
Put it so it's touching this. Make sure you're touching it. You're starting to push forward. Push it towards you slowly. Okay. Bring her forward. Bring her forward. Keep going. The other way. Down. Okay. Down.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're well. We're so good this afternoon. We're glad to have Valerie with us today. Also, want to welcome John Trabucco, who's here. Many of you know John, who was the Eucharistic minister here, part of our congregation, who is the artist and the man who made the altar that we're dedicating today. So John's going to help us by putting together a new little pamphlet that will describe the symbolism on the altar. John is with us today, who is Eucharistic minister for our Eucharist. And especially welcome Bishop Malone, who's with us, who presided at the consecration ceremony today. Always honored every time Bishop Malone joins us. He's been with us quite often this summer, as a matter of fact. Very nice to have him back with us to consecrate our altar today. So welcome all to this liturgy of consecration and dedication of our new altar.
So that those who share the body and blood of your Son may be filled with His Spirit and grow in your life of God. Lord, may our prayer ascend as incense in your sight. As this building is filled with fragrance, so may your church fill the world with the fragrance of Christ. Truly, this is an exalted place, where the sacrifice of Christ is ever offered in mystery, where perfect praise is